So with that being said, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Fitzpatrick. Jack, can you hear us? And is your microphone unmuted?
Yeah, I think I'm real good to go. It's nice to hear you
Oh,
guys. Thank you for having me on.
hey Jack. Hey, before I bring, I'm gonna usher in Dale. I got to tell the story about how, and I'm not putting myself on video this morning. I'm not ready, but you guys are. I wanted to tell everybody how we kind of met, which I think is really interesting. And you can correct me along the way. About 12 years ago, or 13 years ago, I moved back to Arizona. I had to move my kids out of Dallas. We were at MB Trading. I wanted out because I knew if we didn't move them out now, they're going to, try to go through high school through there, and I wanted to move them back home. Despite me having to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day. So moved them back here, and I just had got back maybe about 6 months in, and one of my friends, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I have this neighbor, great guy, just moved here from New York. He's in the FX market. He's big in the FX market, and and I want to introduce him to you because there's not very many FX guys here in Scottsdale. So let's go to lunch." And I'm like, I remember texting John saying, "Yeah, sounds great." And then for one thing led to another. We tried to coordinate it over the course of several weeks, and then it just kind of all fell apart. Anyway, fast forward to last year, and my son and Jack's daughter are in high school, and my son's like, "Hey, my girlfriend's dad is a big trader out of New York." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And so next thing you know, he had mentioned who you were, Jack, and then you guys had come to the realization that you and I were the two that were supposed to meet like 12 or 13 years ago for lunch.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It never happened. So now, here we are. Fast forward like a year. Our kids are both in college together as a couple. And I was just with Jack and his family in Mississippi at Ole Miss just about 3 4 weeks ago. And it's great. And we're pulling. Both Jack and I are really pulling for our kids, hoping they make this work because Jack and I might end up being attached at the hip for a while. So anyway,
Exactly.
small world, and just for the record, now I'm going to pass you over to Dale. Jack, after he left, and he'll tell you, his background. After he left Morgan, he was a prop trader over at the Gelber Group, and it just so happens you guys here in this community know the Gelber Group, and Tommy from the Gelber Group is I've helped them promote or we here at Forex Analytix, we help promote the breakout, which is currently in its second competition right now to find fresh prop traders from around the country. You were a prop trader at the Gelber Group, which happens to have. There's actually a few guys in our community that have traded at the Gelber Group in the city that are in our community right now. And Jack and I know a lot of the same people in the city. So it's a really small world. And with that being said, Jack, I'm so happy to have you here. Your experience is uh, you have more experience than so many traders, and I think you have so much to share, not only with our community but with traders around the world. So I'm going to pass you over to Dale. Dale obviously has been with us since the beginning, and Dale has a boatload of experience as well. So I'm going to let you two run with it. So I'll be right here. But Jack, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, buddy.
Great to meet you, Jack.
Nice to meet you too, Dale. Good morning.
All right, so let's get in the time machine together. All right, I know it's early, but let's do it. And tell us what your first entree into the trading business was, and when did you know that the markets were going to become part of your life? What attracted you? How old were you? And what was your first gig in the
Yeah,
business?
well, let me correct Blake. Unfortunately, I was not the head of the foreign exchange trading desk at Morgan Stanley. I was an executive director there on the spot desk. So I just want to clarify that for
Ah,
for
thank,
transparency.
thank you.
But my first experience was I was going to Fordham University. My buddy, his older brother, had a trading boutique equity trading company in Manhattan, and I visited there one day. and I was in like before starting school, and I visited, and it was mayhem. Like one guy's walking around with a bishop's hat made of $100, praying for a rally because the stocks were in the dumper, and people are eating pizza. One guy's wearing shorts, one guy's wearing a suit. It was just controlled chaos, and I
You
was
loved
just
it.
the energy was just uncontrollable, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I originally was I applied to Fordham for media studies, and I wanted to get into kind of the entertainment production, and that was scrapped immediately. And became an economics major, and was completely enthralled with just prices and movements and why and what ifs, and yeah, got a degree. Funny story. First job was Morgan Stanley, was there for my whole career. The reason why I got the job, Dale, you can probably relate to this. The New York Times had the Sunday Times, and in there they had the want ads, and they in the want ads had all kinds of job listings, and you would write a cover letter and send your resume to the company. Well, I ran into one of the ads, and it says, send $50, we guarantee you a job on Wall Street. I was like, easy peasy, let's do this. Sent the resume in, $50. I had a interview with Morgan Stanley the following Tuesday. Got the job in operations, was there for 9 months. Lady tapped me on the shoulder. You want to join my team? I'll double your salary when I give you a bonus end of the year. I said, happy days. I was making 18.5, doubled my salary, making 50 grand the first year. And I was able to sit on the trading desk and do P&L and position reconciliation. I was just completely in it. And on the foreign exchange desk at Morgan Stanley in the early 90s, and saw fireworks left and right. I mean, British pound deval, and I just completely fell in love with it. I told the big guy I wanted to work for him, got my MBA part-time, and when I graduated and got my MBA, he hired me, and I was on the futures arbitrage group, which that was my first forte into foreign exchange. I was arbitraging the futures market in Chicago against the cash spot market in New York, which I'm not sure there's a cash spot market with voice brokers quoting prices
not
at all anymore. I think that may have gone
no more squawk boxes.
Yeah, no more. Unfortunately, the dinosaur is dead there, but foreign exchange moves on and lives on.
Yeah. So you had the same reaction I did from the gallery of the CME over Union Station in the 70s. And I just looked at all that energy, went on the floor and went to different desks and said, I really don't care what you're going to pay me. I just want to learn. And it was the energy. And that was it. That was the beginning of the long and winding road. So, we all come into the business and then we start looking at trades and try and figure out how we could capitalize in markets. Did you have any mentors or any books that influenced you early? Do you consider yourself, or did you become a technical trader, or were you more like the guys on the floor that could just trade paper flow, although you did it from a desk?
Yeah, I would say the first opportunity in the futures arbitrage, it was just very quick reactionary. Like those opportunities presented themselves and you would kind of close on them and they'd be gone. But there were days where things got really volatile, and the human factor in Chicago in the pits, like my broker would know there was nervousness and we'd break a level and it would just get really out of line. So it was more reactionary and being quick and disciplined about things. But then I did that for about 7 or 8 years on the desk. And then one day the entire spot desk at Morgan Stanley left and went to a different shop. I forget the shop. So they needed bodies. So they're like, all right, Fitzpatrick, you're the dollar yen guy in the futures arbitrage. You're now the dollar yen dealer. And that kind of got me into the more entrenched in the dollar yen exactly, and understanding positioning, understanding movements. I would say, I think the first book I read was probably Market Wizards. That kind of really broke it out to me and gave me a better understanding of like what people are doing out there, what these hedge funds are all about. And I would say I eventually adopted probably 60-40 fundamentals against 40% probably technicals, because understanding like things definitely moved quickly through particular levels. And I was a big, I always wanted to understand the sentiment, because when the sentiment got too high, I think we all know when the boat goes all to one side, what's going to happen. So there's always a kind of reaction that pushes things over. So yeah, I would say,
except in the modern era.
well, I don't know. You know what? I stopped trading foreign exchange probably 7, 8 years ago. I just got burnt out, and then foreign exchange
Yeah.
was such a low vol scenario and so frustrating. And doing it for 20 years, I felt that was my edge, understanding foreign exchange when I was at Gelber, and I was like, things are not moving. It's just so frustrating. These like 20, 30 point ranges in the euro. Just how am I going to pay the bills? And I pivoted from currency trading to what I'm doing now.
Okay. And when you look back on your career, what were the biggest lessons you learned early on in a one mistake business?
Yeah.
And did you see others do it? You brought up market wizards, and I've talked to Jack before, and he said most of the wizards that blew out accounts, they resolved that they would never put on a trade without a hard stop. They
Yeah.
always had a hard stop. You know, a lot of people say, "Well, I have a mental stop." Well, you can go through a lot of mental duress with a mental stop. So, biggest lessons for people maybe thinking about breaking into this business.
Yeah, I would say the biggest lesson and the highest priority would to have discipline, and like you said, to have concrete stops, call it a day. 9 out of 10 times that first cut is the best cut, and you move on. I remember when I was doing the futures arbitrage early in my career, the CME opened up the Mexican peso contract. So I was
I
doing yen,
remember
and I started the Mexican peso, and then like
right
9 months.
right before the devaluation, Jack.
Exactly. So as the
Oh
story
wow.
goes, 9 months into this thing, the contract's open, and all of a sudden, it, all was it? So it started with the Russian debt crisis, and then led to long-term capital, which led to meltdown in emerging markets. And all of a sudden, EM Mexican peso is blowing out. Like I am
Yeah.
trading 10 big figure wide spreads in Chicago, and the head of foreign exchange pulls me in with the head of the spot desk, who's really under duress given how rates are moving. And she's like, "Where are we at here? What is our risk? Maybe we should be dialing this down." I'm like, "Well, we can dial this down, but I'm looking at 10 and 15 big figure spreads, like 18, I guess Malamex is trading 18, 30, 40 or so, like 30, 40, like 10
Yeah.
big figures. Like every trade I'm doing is a $10 trade and making $100,000 or losing 100,000 or what have you. So she's like, "Listen, I want you guys to dial it in." She talked to the other guy and said, "I want you to wind down some of your longer dated stuff, or there's going to be some rapid changes because things were just out of control."
Yeah.
He did not do what she asked and didn't follow the direct orders. And he was shit canned within a week because the back end of the book blew out. Fortunately, I was able to remain profitable, and I think I had my best day trading ever in currencies. I made like over $1 million, and it was just mayhem.
I knew a lot of guys that lost their seats on the
Oh,
IMM
easy.
that day.
So easy to do it.
You know, that's the one downside of being on the floor. You have out trades. At least when
Yeah.
you're on a desk, you know all your trades have cleared. These guys would walk in the next day and find themselves long or short a certain amount of contracts that they just had to eat every
Yeah.
day. Yeah,
Yeah. And
tough
honestly,
gig.
being at a bank, if you took 100 grand out trade hit on a day where you're making $1 million, you're probably like, all right, well, now it's 900 grand or whatever. Like you had the ability, the capital backing of a firm to kind of back you up. But a lot of these guys were just, running solo, which, they had real super tight margins and couldn't afford errors like that.
Okay, and when did you move to Arizona from New York? Was it the winters that finally got to you? What
Yeah,
was
I finally
behind it?
tapped out. I got riffed out of Morgan Stanley after 23 years, and then that's when I joined Gelber, and I was at Gelber for like a year or two in New York. And I was talking to my wife and said, "There's got to be a better life to live out there. I'm tired of the potholes and the snow and the taxes." And my wife and I would visit her mother-in-law, who was part-time out there, and it was just so beautiful. And we figured it would suit our bill to be out there to retire. But
Yeah,
fortunately, my kids
nice.
were young enough; they were pre-high school. I have 4 daughters, and they were all young enough to make the move. And we pulled the trigger and did it. And just exponential well-being is just unbelievable. You know, I don't miss the rat race whatsoever. The only thing I can say I miss from New York is going to Little Italy and Arthur Avenue in the Bronx and maybe the Italian
The
bread.
food, the food.
Exactly. But you know what? Arizona's got some pretty solid restaurants out here, and I couldn't be happier.
Can you find a good Italian beef in Scottsdale?
I'm not really an Italian beef guy. I'm more of Italian combo maybe,
All
but
right, all right.
I found an awesome Italian restaurant called Corso. It's guys from Italy, but he was in Jersey for about 40 years, so it's been nice to run into him.
We ate there
Okay.
with you, Jack. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So,
Hey,
so
hey,
has
hey,
the hours. Let me just finish it.
Oh yeah, sure thing.
I have two more questions and then Blake.
Oh yeah, sure thing.
First of all, getting up earlier, the time change adjustment.
Yeah.
Any issues with that? Do you miss it? You could sleep till 6 or 7 o'clock, and now you're up at 4.
Hell no. I'm an early riser.
Okay.
You know, back in New York, I would be at the desk at 6 a.m. I lived in the
Okay.
suburbs. I was like a half an hour drive away, in early enough. So I've always been an early riser. Not a problem at all.
Okay, and not only for Blake's son, but other guys that came to date your daughters, did you show up the door with a chainsaw?
No, but I threatened all of them with my my handgun. I had my Glock ready. I was going to clean it at the kitchen table. But one day I did walk around with it holstered, and my daughter had almost a heart attack. So
It's a great story. Look, the
I
apple
let them
doesn't
all know
fall.
that I let them all know that I am very, very First Amendment #2.
Okay. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and Blake's sons, they're like Blake, so you're doing okay with a guy like him. So
Yeah, no doubt I'm
Blake,
blessed.
it's really nice to meet you, Jack, and you want to share just one more war story. Tell us your worst experience in your
Oh,
career.
worst experience is also probably the best experience. I was trading dollar yen when it collapsed through 70 or 77 and made the all-time lows. And I'm a dollar yen dealer, so everyone's selling. I'm getting them. I'm long dollar yen all the way down. I'm like, oh man, this has been a torturous day. And I ended up down a couple $100,000, which on a day like that on a currency desk is no big deal. But it was painful to deal with and comprehend. But I felt like I did a good job. And at the end of the day, I was still long dollars, and I bought a I bought a no touch downside overnight or 1 week no touch, and the BOJ came in and ripped it 7 big figures back higher. So I made all my money back and then some. So it was a good turnaround. And it was actually on St. Patrick's Day where they came in. So I had a couple of Guinness and I was enjoying my take profit as things ripped higher.
A war story that turns out with victory. Love it.
Yeah,
So it was great talking to you, Jack, and we'd like to, have you back again if you want to talk to us about your journey. And Blake,
sure.
your son's potential future father-in-law, he's all
I
yours
know
now, man.
it's so crazy because we do have somewhat parallel lives and it's wild. But Jack is just like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge, and it's funny just sitting back in the back seat listening to you guys talk about things. But I do want to say that one of the reasons I wanted to bring Jack on is just because of the knowledge that he has in the markets and Jack, you're an RIA now. So explain to traders what you do nowadays.
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, I segued. Like I was saying, I kind of got burnt out from trading, and FX was just beating my head against the desk. And I thought the best avenue for me for new opportunity would be pivoting into wealth management. So registered investment advisor, I'm Series 65, so I give financial investment advice. Also insurance license, so I cover people's life risks. And I joined a group called Savvy Advisors, a registered investment advisor. And I work under their guise as under my own business practice. And basically, I'm kind of a wealth advisor looking to solve people's problems and help them with the issues that they have. And I try to cover investments, insurance, tax, and legal, and make sure everything's aligned for them.
So just if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best place to do it, and how do they do it? I'm going to show your screen over at Savvy just real quick while you're doing this. Savvy Advisors. But what's the best way for traders to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would just hit me up on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest. And if not, my I could put my email in the chat.
Let's see. You guys are. I can go about, and you're right here.
Alphabetically,
So
yeah.
yeah, there you are. So if anybody wants, I'm going to put it in the chat box. But you could just go to Savvy Advisors or was it SavvyWealth.com?
SavvyWealth.com, yeah.
Yeah, and get a hold of Jack if you guys have any questions about wealth management. And I think he's well, Jack, you're obviously a great wealth of knowledge. Now, I promised everybody earlier I was going to tell a story that you don't know, Jack.
Uh-oh.
I know. So your wife and my wife and your daughter and my son, they took a trip to Mississippi for orientation. This is about 4, 5, 6 months ago, and I guess about 4 or 5 months ago, and they were all in Mississippi together. And my wife contacts me and she goes, Blake, Jack's buying Tesla right now. Like she's I'm like, what? And she goes, well, Sue and Jack are talking, and then Sue's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be buying some Tesla and stuff. And she's like, I'm buying Tesla. I'm like, oh, okay, do whatever you're gonna do. So I'm like, but I think it's a smart idea because Musk is at Doge
It's a
right now.
great
And
trade.
when he
Yeah.
leaves, Tesla's probably going to rip. And she's like, well, I'm buying some. And so this is back here in about March or April. And so anyway, my wife actually showed me her statement yesterday. She's like, I wish I would have bought more. I'm like, well, welcome to trading. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah. That's a
and
good story. Never enough when you're right, always too much when you're wrong, right, Jack?
yeah, she's
No
like,
doubt.
she's
No
like,
doubt.
oh yeah, look, we made about 100% on our money. I wish I would have bought more. I'm like, oh well. But Jack,
Her money, was it her money,
yeah, it is her money, not my
She was
money. It's her
not your
money.
money? If it had been a lot, it would have been your money.
Right. Hey, Ryan, since you're here and we have Jack here and we have a few more minutes, I know you sat around and listened to Jack. Do you have any questions for him? I mean, being across the pond and being, snooty, UK guy. Do you have
Not
any
so much a
questions for Jack?
not so much a question, but just hearing Jack's, early life, how he got into markets, what he went through in terms of learning about fundamentals, particularly sentiment. I mean, I'm massive on sentiment. It's
Yeah.
it's chalk and cheese. It's pretty much exactly the same path I went on, and it's a path a lot of people who go into the city, go into big banks, go on. It's why we've got the experience we've got, being so long in the tooth as we all are. And it's something, certainly we try and push here at ForexAnalytix. You can't just be a technical trader. You don't have to understand economics, have a degree. You've just got to understand, the basics, but understand the sentiment. I mean, that's something I say into every big event, a Fed meeting, a Bank of England meeting, NFP. Know what the market is doing going into these things. Know what the
Yeah.
sentiment is, because then you know how to trade it.
No doubt. I agree. Can't agree more.
Well,
Well,
good luck.
Jack,
Good luck
go
in
ahead.
your new career, Jack.
Yeah.
I
I
appreciate it.
hope
Thanks, Dale.
I hope you're able to accumulate a lot of people and use the knowledge you gained as a trader to help manage risk in case this bull market ever ends for people.
I hear
And
you. Thanks a lot, Dale. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
And guys, Jack, we're gonna have him back. So if you have any questions for him, make sure you reach out to him. We put his, just check out savvyadvisors.com, and he did put his email, which is is it dot Fitzpatrick or
Yeah,
Jack
Jack Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
at savvyadvisors.com. Great. Email him if you have any questions. And we're going to have Jack back just because you have so much experience. And that's one thing that, Dale's so good at. Dale finds like the guys and gals with so much experience that have something to share with our community. So we appreciate having you here and sharing your, years and decades of experience with our community. So thank you so much, Jack, for being here. And Dale, I'll let you wrap it up.
Thanks, Blake.
Oh,
Appreciate it, man.
All right, so have a great weekend, Jack. Appreciate you being here and glad you found Go West, young man. I'm glad you finally listened to that to get out of the winters. How do you like it in August? Do you go
Love
outside
it.
and you do love it, huh?
Oh, I love it. I'll take
Oh my,
110. I'll take 110 before 90 degrees and 95% humidity in the city streets any day of the
okay.
week.
All right. Well, okay. I didn't mind it for a while, but I eventually I went to the coast. So, to me, it's the opposite of living in Chicago, which is where I'm from, where you hibernated in the winter, and in Arizona and even here, I'm in the high desert. I kind of hide out when it's 100 degrees. So, um, really great meeting you. And this is how I close every show, Jack, because we're also focused on pips, right? So I think it's important to be grateful that we're even in the game. And I always say to people, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you, Blake and Ryan and
Thanks,
Jack. Great
Coach.
meeting you. And we'll see everyone tomorrow for TGIF. And that's a wrap. Adios.
Take care, y'all.
See you, Jack.
See you, Jack.
Take care,
Thank you.
Joe. Thanks again. Thanks, Blake. Take care.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Forex Analytics. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.